Damn, I wrote that.
You did write that.
Well, partially wrote it, gotta be honest.
What do you mean partially wrote it?
The rhythm was written by Roxanne's cousin.
I see. Wait, Roxanne's cousin?
Yeah.
What does
Melissa
he do?
Labe. Shout out to you, man.
What did you just say right now?
Melissa Labe is her name.
Oh, Melissa.
She's French-Canadian.
You just said it so fast. So I was like, what did you just say right
Yeah,
now?
yeah. She's the drummer, and
Very
I
good one.
asked her to write me like a cool rhythm, like a few bars.
Yeah.
That was what she wrote, and I just put the notes on. So
Interesting.
I'm a fake.
You're a fake.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Andy is a fraud, is what we're trying to tell the audience today.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first on Breakstuff.
Although
Andy
they probably
is
know. They probably
a
know.
fraud. Yeah,
They probably know. They
Maybe.
probably know.
I don't know. Maybe.
They
Andy,
probably know.
what's been going on with your life? Tell me about your life. The audience is dying to know. It's March. It's Leprechaun's Christmas time, and it's March time. Tell us what's
This
been
is why
going
you're wearing
on.
green.
This is why I'm wearing green. I got to represent the Leprechaun's Christmas.
Leprechaun's Christmas. I like it.
Yeah, March 17th. You know, it's a big day.
So yeah, what's been going? I recently launched an online / in-person music school.
OnlyFans?
Yes, you can say, you know, I teach like free content on Instagram.
Wait, honestly, that would be really funny if you put your videos on OnlyFans.
Right?
You should just do that.
And then like if you want the details, you should pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
So finger rolling.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
dude.
like, do you want to
That'd
learn
be
this
funny.
sweep? Okay. I'm like, okay, how do I get the details?
Like, there's probably some guy out there, and he's like, all right. And he's like, he pulls down his pants. He's like, all right, I'm ready. And then you just pop up into his feed, and he's like,
5-string
he's like-
arpeggios?
I guess I can wait. And he pulls up his pants, and he's like, I
Get
guess
this guitar.
Get this
Get
guitar.
this
He's
guitar.
like, I can save this for later. Like, he's like, I really want to know how to sweep pick. And then he just
That's hilarious, man.
dude, that's crazy.
Oh, God.
Yeah. No,
But yeah.
okay, so you started the school. What
Yeah.
are your thoughts so far?
So unfortunately these days you can't just be a music teacher. You gotta play the social media game.
Right, of course.
I don't
What do you think
necessarily.
we're doing right now?
Yeah, but-
like,
If you're alone, it's harder.
right.
Because I'm talking to you,
Yes, of course.
and I've been talking to you forever.
Yeah, no.
On and off camera.
Honestly, yeah.
You
You're
know?
like, oh, I gotta keep talking to this guy. Like,
But it's like when you're alone, it's hard. It's so hard, dude.
yeah. 'Cause
I
you're
screw
just
up
talking
a
into
lot
the
because I'm
void.
like, retake.
Yeah.
It's harder than the guitar techniques, to be honest.
For sure. I mean, you like right now, like you're probably at like level 1. I'm sure you're not doing crazy like guitar technique stuff.
Well, okay. So every week we plan to release 3 videos.
Right.
I mean, we're ahead of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, every week there are gonna be 3 videos released: Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Mondays are for beginners, Wednesdays for intermediate, Fridays for the advanced ones.
Gotcha.
And like what I was telling Carson earlier, the beginner ones are the hardest to film
yeah.
because I have to show everything, even my dong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's pivotal for learning guitar. I remember learning drums. Like, I had to see that.
You had to
well,
see somebody's
so-
dong.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like, that's just the natural progression. And then
Absolutely.
you see less dongs as you get better. I mean,
100%.
That's kind of the incentive. It's kind of
100%.
like you're getting to the point where you're like, okay, I don't have to see as many dongs. But at the beginning, you know, it's
You
all the
have
time.
to.
You all the time.
You have to.
You'll be like, here's sweep picking, and then it just cuts to it. And then you're like, and then you're like, I got to learn this quick.
OnlyFans guy's like,
Wait.
oh wait, maybe I'm into it.
And he's like, wait a minute. I came here for one thing, but now
Now I came.
yes, and then he came. Okay, so you do have to show everything. So like I'm sure in terms of like picking, like actually
Yeah,
like
man.
chords, like getting
So-
close up.
I'll give you an example. The most recent beginner video I filmed was about proper positioning for your left and right hands.
Yeah.
That one it required a lot of maneuvering to show like
proper. And
yes,
then,
like
what's
thumb behind the
improper.
neck, thumb on top of the neck, playing with the pads of your fingers, right hand shot, you know how to hold the pick. It's like, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're going over fundamentals. Like
Exactly. Like
when
that.
when I tell people about like, they're like, oh, can you give me like a quick like drum lesson? And it's like, well, I'm going to first teach you how to hold a stick, which like that in of itself is already difficult enough.
That's
to do
Mr.
properly.
Miyagi. Mr. Miyagi style.
Exactly. Wax on, wax off.
Exactly.
But like
yes.
Yeah, so you're having to go through the wax on wax off thing.
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
and it's pivotal because like if you don't, like in my instance, if you don't hold a drumstick properly from the start, you're screwing yourself
If
over.
you don't have a good foundation, then how, I know it's cliche, but if you don't have a good foundation, then how are you going to build anything on it?
Exactly. And I remember like you experienced this with me, but like a good example of like developing off of bad technique. But when I started studying with Blaze, who was our teacher, he was like showing me how to do double kick. And like one of our first lessons.
Love you, Blaze.
And love you too.
I actually do.
Well,
Awesome time.
yeah, it was a great time. I wasn't lying.
Yeah.
And within the first 2 lessons, and at this point I am 23 or 22, 23.
And me.
And me, 23 and me. Was around my age, and I'd been playing for many years, and he was like, oh, you're never going to develop if you keep their technique that you have.
Oh, he spotted something, huh?
And I was playing with my shins when I was doing when I was playing with the kick pedal. And
So what do you say?
Well, the shin is the weakest part of your leg. So like, if you're trying to play 300 BPM, you're choosing a muscle to rely on that will burn out super fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
And crazy enough, it took me that long to realize because I was able to just kind of get by.
Yeah.
And then he was like, if you really like, because it was a great frustration of mine for a really, really long time. And so he was like, if you want to like get past this, like this downfall or this pitfall of your playing, like you have to throw this technique out. And so when I went home for Christmas, I basically felt like I was learning drums again.
From zero. Yeah.
Because I basically went back to like playing a simple like 4 on the floor kick drum thing, but not using my shins.
Just to retrain your muscle memory, right?
Exactly. So Did
you break speed limits?
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean like it was a game changer, and it really helped define, like how you should be feeling and what muscles you're using at certain tempos and at certain, like, because, if you're playing a slower tempo, you just need to use your hip flexors to like engage, the kick pedal. And then
because you don't need the speed.
You don't need the speed. And then when it's faster, you'll like, flex your hip flexors, but you're really relying on your calves to be the ones to push the momentum onto the pedal.
I thought, that was my theory. It's like calves.
Yeah, it's calves. So it's mainly calves. And then, a lot of drummers go back and forth between whether they want to swivel or they want to keep their feet straight. Well, no, it's
heel
not
up. Sorry,
it's not necessarily heel up because if you are using your calves, you are using heel up.
Okay.
But like you'll see drummers and like they literally are swiveling for pressure, right? Yeah. So that's just another way to go about it.
Do you do that?
No, I didn't end up doing that. I wanted to keep it just kind of straight to the foundation. And granted, I'm not a crazy speed player. Like I can play.
Oh, he is. He is.
I mean, I could play pretty quick, but I'm not.
Listen to the Last Demon stuff. He kills it.
I'm not. Thank you. I'm not at like the level of like 300 BPM because that was never like a goal for me. Like,
fair enough.
We're gonna talk about Decapitated later, but I remember learning Cancer Culture, and that was super hard for me because those.
Oh my God, you learned. I got pretty close. I love that album so much.
It's so good, right?
Dude, yeah.
And so that was like really the push where I was like,
if you want to make a cover, I will learn it.
I have to relearn it because that was like summer of 23 that I learned it. So I got to like.
You didn't tell me you learned it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if you told me, I would have learned it with you.
I did it in isolation, I
would have learned it with you, bro.
Okay, well, we'll relearn it and then we'll have it on our Mood Mixer page.
I love that album so much.
It's good. It's very good. Yeah. So that was really pushing it for me. Really, like, my goal with like double kick was like to learn like Slipknot songs because I love Slipknot. This guy
Joey Jordison, Jay
I
love his
Weinberg,
drumming.
And now Eloy. Yeah, I mean they're all phenomenal.
Eloy is a beast,
bro. Yeah, literally just.
He also hits hard, like hard.
Yeah,
hard.
You thought Cole Khaleesi hits hard.
I know because I see like when the drum tech is filming you from behind and you're playing a live show. Dude, I hear the acoustic hits so clearly.
Yeah. And
then he goes like
you don't even hear
winds
the mics.
up.
Yeah.
And then it's like, bam.
Dude, I am really, really trying to get back to kind of like my studio chops because this past year was like, with my job, I work at a studio. And so my job really was like to figure out how to be a really good studio engineer for a little bit. And then now I'm kind of coming back to like, all right, well, drums is the thing. Like I just needed to kind of survive.
Exactly.
And I'm going to keep trying to be a better engineer 100%. But
But you also don't want to let the performance side go.
Performance side go. So I have really been practicing, and like there's a practice space I found nearby me, which has been a godsend because I can't really play drums on the 4th floor of an apartment complex. And so I was playing, and so it's just on someone else's kit, and like it's like his like kind of like throwaway kit. It's nothing crazy.
It's still that you can practice on it.
Yeah, still practice on it. So I was working on like consistency and kick volume, velocity, and snare volume and velocity. And like if you know anything about like studio drumming, those are the things you're hitting hard, and then your cymbals you're hitting really lightly. And so
because of the mics.
Yeah, because of the mics, but how you want to hear things. You don't want cymbals to be too loud. You want cymbals to be like lower in the mix and providing kind of a bed.
Is it because it occupies a lot of sonic space?
It does, and it's also very harsh. So like if you have too much of it,
super
then
high end, right?
Super high end, and then that also takes away from your guitars and then also your vocals.
I see.
Like that's why like riding like on a crash, it's gonna get buried because that's the same frequency range as like the clarity in your guitar.
I never thought about it that way, but that makes a lot of sense actually.
That's why relying on the hi-hat more makes more sense because that's a higher higher frequency range than the guitars will reach.
I have a question for you though. What if the song calls for like riding the ride? Like let's say your blast beat, it's like decapitated. Like blast beating, right?
Right. Yeah, that's also, it's not like it's not a realm of possibility, but it's something to consider when you're writing a part.
Yeah, okay. I never thought about it that way.
Because you can like, whoever's the mix engineer can shelve out and kind of manipulate the frequency spectrum so that will still punch through, but it is something that has a tendency to do that. So I was practicing on like the consistency and volume, and I really got into it, and I've been practicing these songs that require a lot of energy and a lot of just like push, a lot of like really fast punk songs. And so I'm playing, and like halfway through, I'm like, man, snare all of a sudden sounds really weird. And I busted the whole bottom head because I was hitting so hard.
Did you tore it apart?
Yeah, I mean it went like, and so the head pieces. So when the guy was like, just lock the door when you're done. So I texted him, I was like, hey man, I don't know if it was me or if someone before me. If it was me, I will so pay for this head. I'm very sorry. Like,
what did he say?
He was like, I really appreciate that, man. Because I wasn't going to be the guy that was just like, oh, it wasn't me. Like, this is dude's kid. I'm not going to, but I'm definitely
also it's easily replaceable.
Yeah, it's like $20, $30. So
it's fine.
I was like, dude, I'll just Venmo you however much that is. It's not a big deal. But yeah, no, it's something on the level of Eloy. Like you think about his drum techs, like his drum techs probably after every single show are replacing it because otherwise they're just. I think
most like big time
it's
international touring acts. They would do that. Like it's the same for guitar strings.
Yeah.
Like, we saw Dream Theater.
I know. I wanted to ask you about that
last month. I'll get to that.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm pretty sure Mike Portnoy gets his heads changed every show.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In the same way Petrucci gets his strings changed every show.
Yeah.
Because not only do they have endorsements, which means it's free, they have the techs to do it for them.
Right. Yeah. No. They just sit. The techs know exactly the height and everything.
And that's
should be. And they just get up and they're like.
And then play the show. Pull me under. Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting actually when you were explaining double kick technique. I was drawing parallels with my own evolution for guitar technique.
Right.
So playing fast, everybody likes to play fast. Well, a lot of people likes to play. A lot of people like to play fast. I like to play fast.
It's gratifying.
It's super gratifying. So my technique has changed too, but I didn't have that somebody to point out like, hey, that's an inefficient motion.
Yeah.
I discovered it on my own.
I see.
So for the longest time, I was picking with my fingers like this. And pretty weak muscles, right?
Right.
I mean, if you're going slow, it's fine. It's fine. So I kept on hitting a speed barrier.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like,
you couldn't get past.
Even like my first few semesters in Berkeley, I was still doing this.
Yeah.
So I was just like scratching my head. I'm like, why can't I?
Yeah, I had the same thing.
I'm like, because I'm doing the metronome practice, religiously, like why can't I, surpass like X BPM with X number of subdivisions?
Right.
And then it just occurred to me naturally that I should have been using my wrist, and to a certain extent, for me, I don't know if it's for it applies to other guitar players, but like
it doesn't.
Some elbow too. It kind of helped.
Really? I mean, we're already good at that motion, so I'm sure it was really easy to apply.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm like, it's just like
super easy to apply.
Transferable skill.
Transferable skills. Are you gonna add that to your next video? You're like, listen, this one's gonna be really easy for you guys.
All right. So if you're watching this advanced video, you probably don't have girls. So anyways,
no, for sure.
Here's some 16th note triplets at 120.
Dude, honestly, I think that is the lane you should go. Like, yes, for sure, you should be a professional, but like, you should definitely drop those in because that will definitely make your life a lot easier. That would make you a lot more comfortable, like teaching.
Yeah, if you're here watching this stupid sweep video,
yeah, you probably don't like get girls. Laid.
Yeah, or you like them, but they don't like you.
Yeah, no, literally. Like, that's funny. If I was watching that, I'd be like, nice, you got me, dude.
Dude,
like,
that was my joke. It's not actually, it's real. I used to say, and I still do sometimes, that I was a virgin all throughout high school because I was studying sweep picking.
Yeah, literally.
I was learning how to sweep and play fast and studying theory on my own.
Yeah, no, that's...
And then all my classmates were like, going on dates, going to this party at this guy's place. Oh, yeah, I'm just in the library. Yeah. I'm like...
The library? You're practicing guitar in the library?
No, I was like, what's a Phrygian mode? Okay, let's read up on this.
You're like reading the modes.
I was reading everything. You know, and then I'd go home and practice. Yeah. That was my high school life.
No, that was literally my high school life. Like people...
But I'm grateful for it.
No, 100%. Like, I mean...
I wouldn't be where, like the kind of player I am today without it.
No, same. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am without it.
Because
like,
I was just like, I just want to play a fucking Dream Theater song, man.
Yeah, 100%.
So I was just like, you know... So anyway, going back to that technique thing.
The technique thing before we got off on wanking.
Yeah, it's the same for you, like figuring out your shin is a weak muscle, so you should probably rely on something else. So it's the same for me.
So you're keeping your fingers steady the whole time, and then you're using your wrist.
I was using this.
Right, so that was before, but like the correct is you're using your wrist.
I mean, I don't want to say correct because everybody's techniques differ slightly.
Yeah. But so, like what you found to get through that barrier.
I busted out of the barrier.
Busted out of the barrier, literally.
I busted a nut.
Yeah, you
busted the barrier. The speed barrier. Okay, so I cleared the speed wall.
The speed wall, yes.
With the wrist and a little bit of elbow.
And a little bit
of elbow grease.
A little bit of elbow grease to get you through. So, okay, that's really interesting. So like when you're going fast, you are really relying on your wrist and then some extra from there.
And some elbow
grease. You know.
Yeah. And also there's pick slanting. But like that's so nerdy.
Right. And so you aren't manipulating your fingers at all. These are steady.
Okay, here's the confusing part.
Okay.
I kind of found a way to incorporate the finger movement to my current technique for picking because I need to change angles like this as I switch strings.
Right.
For it to be cleaner.
I see.
So I think this is especially useful when I'm descending. So going from the highest string to the lowest string.
Yeah.
I start with this, but I'm still using this.
Yeah.
Because it's harder for me to descend.
So you're using that. It's like the same thing. Like with drums, you're keeping like your thumb and your finger together.
Are you doing this?
These fingers are free. But like you're keeping them kind of consistent, and then if something's really fast, then I'll use my fingers to add more
like the
leverage.
blast beats. Like I see people doing this all the time.
Yeah, because it's adding like some more ease instead of just fully going on your wrists.
And you're letting it bounce, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. It depends, you know, what we're doing. But Toxic T, do you want to say hi?
Hey, Toxic T.
What's up?
Hey, I brought you some of those mango things again. Oh.
Great.
Yeah, we should definitely try that riff.
Andy, can you do that? Yeah. I can do that. Great. No,
she'll talk about her technique in the next episode.
Whatever.
About the wrong muscle.
Yeah, the wrong muscle. But no, I definitely see a lot of parallels. Like I remember my sophomore year, I was trying to learn "Wait and Bleed" by Slipknot, and I like kept going to my professor. My professor, Dave DeCenso, who is literally like I owe my life to. He like every single week he's like, "Are you like practicing, man?" And I'm like, "Yes." I am with the metronome, and it's still like I still can't because I think it's like 192 is the BPM, and
was that your limit?
Yeah, no, like my limit was like 172. Like after that, so then he was like, "Hey man, like you aren't playing this clean at all," and I was like, "I know, Dave,
help me. That's why I'm here."
And it was no fault of his because he had no idea in that regard. And then when I 2 years later specifically asked, I was like, "Watch my legs," and Blaze was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like,
"Ooh,"
and I was like, well, he wasn't that mean about it.
No, but like
more like
very astute.
Yeah.
Observation.
Just like, what are we doing here? So then it kind of built up from there. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, no.
So we both have good. But you had the professor to point it out. It kind of just happened to me.
You just figured it out though. I mean, that's still great.
It just fell on my lap because I was like doing a run and I'm like, oh my God, that felt really good and really clean.
Yeah.
What happened there?
What happened? Yeah.
So I examined it. So I'm like, oh, it's this and this.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, like similar with like your videos, you know, if people have gone this far on the podcast, they definitely
they're definitely
they definitely like girls, but girls don't like them.
Datingly challenged,
and I as well. So cheers to that, everybody.
Hey, I'm trying to hook this guy up for the long. I've been trying to hook Carson up for the longest time,
since the
man.
moment he's met me, he's tried so hard.
I was like at Mike's diner. I was like, hey, the waitress looks cute.
Yeah, she was like 60.
And I'm like, she has a little bit of a lazy eye, but you're fine with that, aren't you?
Dude, we were like in like Southie, man. We weren't finding any of my future.
Not Southie, but South End.
South End, yeah.
Listen, we're not that ghetto.
We're not. Yeah, that's true. Boston, if you know, you know. With that, we talked a lot about Decapitated through kind of us,
which is actually a great segue for the next segment, which is Does It Go Hard? Cue the blast beats.
The blast beats are already going, so I'll just cue them again.
Anyway, so it's funny that we were talking about technique,
right?
Because now we're going to talk about technical death metal.
Yes, exactly.
So, okay,
Can you pull up the track list for me on your computer? So
I tell them about our picks for this week.
Yeah, our picks. So what I do really like about this show is because I'm I'm a weird case in terms of liking metal. Like I'm just very particular and I don't know like a lot of like the big like albums. And so Andy, especially through this segment that we have, I'm able to like learn about all of these like bands that have existed and people are
right.
How do you not know this band and you like metal, you know? So I had already known Decapitated, but I did not know this album, which this album is called
Carnival is Forever from 2011.
From 2011.
I bought the album when it came out.
In CD or vinyl?
Jewel, not Jewel, but like
Jewel?
Digipack.
You bought a Jewel?
No, it's called the Jewel case.
Album? What?
No, I bought the Digipack, so it's like a special edition. I don't know if it's a special. It's like paper case.
Okay.
It's fancy.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, right here. Carnival is Forever.
Carnival is Forever.
Yeah,
so I listened to this for the first time and I really, really enjoyed it. I think I can definitively say it goes hard.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. I don't think that's a question.
It's not a question at all. I think
we're just here to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. I think like listening to it, the first track, which is called The Knife is really freaking good. I think my favorite though is 404.
That's a great one.
404, the rhythmic difference between the drums and the guitar and the like melody the guitar is doing is freaking phenomenal. I can't like definitively like describe it. Just go listen to it. But like I remember listening specifically to that song and being really in awe of like the creativity and also just the interplay between all the instruments.
And that's why they're great musicians.
Oh yeah, they're really, really good.
Amazing. I've met them too. Krim was not there.
So
Krim is the drummer for this album.
Krimh?
K-R-I-M-H. I actually met him last year in the NAMM show.
Oh, okay, cool.
I was a big fan of him.
Very good drummer.
Ever since he was like 17 years old when he was releasing like super...
Jailbait.
What?
You said he was 17.
Yeah. Oh wow. No,
that took you a minute.
You were like,
damn it!
Listen, it's been a long day, man.
Recording a bunch of lessons.
Yeah, a bunch of lessons, man. I gotta teach them. You know.
Keep talking. I'm gonna check our camera because we don't have an in-house producer. I'm just gonna make sure we're good and locked in.
Okay. So, Krim was a YouTube star. He was covering like a lot of extreme metal videos, like from on YouTube. Bands like Dimmu Borgir, these guys, Decapitated, a lot of like extreme metal, like blast beaty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, my God, this guy's so good. He does the swivel technique.
Oh, okay.
He's a swivel guy.
Swivel boy. That's the actual term, is swivel boy.
Oh yeah, I saw his calves because he films his like pedals. It's like holy Christ.
Yeah.
I'm like, he now plays for Septic Flesh.
Right.
Another great band. We'll talk about it in the next episodes.
Yeah.
Great guy. He also has a solo album. He played, I think, if I'm not mistaken, all the instruments: drums, bass, guitar. Great songs.
Dang, and same kind of like skill level. Like around.
No, but the songwriting is on point, bro.
Oh yeah,
great instrumentals, but
like
great
really
songs.
captivating.
I love those songs.
Sick.
Unfortunately, when I saw Decapitated for the first time in 2012, I think he wasn't a drummer anymore.
Okay, gotcha.
I was looking forward to seeing him live, but
different drummer.
I saw him live, but with Septic Flesh.
Gotcha.
That's another story for another day. Anyway, yeah, big fan of this album. I was in college the first time when this came out, and I bought the CD.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, this album is so good that there was like a semester where I was daydreaming about copying the riffs instead of listening to my classes.
I know. I was gonna say, I was like, did you just drop your economics degree for this album for Carnival is Forever?
Yeah, probably just this one whole semester. My teacher's teaching like macroeconomics.
And like
this is the whatever curve, and I'm like, I want to copy that riff from View from a Hole. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I was just doing that. I was just like, dude, I should, in my note. If you see my university notebooks, there's notation on it.
Yeah, it's just notation for the guitar.
Maybe I could do this.
Yeah.
Maybe I could do that.
Yeah.
There's notation. It's nerdy. So again.
What was this whole podcast about? Like, we're just nerds, dog.
But it's we're nerdy because it's tech death.
Yeah, it's tech death. Yeah.
So.
Well, I thought it's really, really good. One thing I did know is I see a lot of parallels and kind of nods to Meshuggah's Obzin.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like the breaks in between like sections. Like I remember there's one song sorry, I'm terrible about describing these, but like, that's has this like great groove section, and then the guitar comes in like just by itself, and it's like and it just reminded me of Bleed, and I was like, and then they all come in, and I was like, oh, that's freaking sick.
Yeah, right.
So it's cool to see kind of the influence of like that record and like that band, and like how that kind of
that's amazing. You're drawing this relationship, because I never noticed it before.
Yeah,
and now I'm thinking about it. Oh yeah. Kinda, yeah, actually.
Yeah, because they're definitely their own thing. I'm not saying they're Meshuggah copycats, but you can definitely hear the influence.
Absolutely.
And I think that's super cool, because it's like you can see like how they all kind of talk to each other.
It's a tip of the hat, but it's still them.
It's still very much them. Like the vocalist is very different than Meshuggah's vocalist.
Oh, he's not the vocalist anymore.
Oh, really?
He left recently.
Oh,
I don't know who's filling in. I forgot. But somebody else is singing right now.
It's probably you, dude, after all these like lessons you're taking. Yeah, with Trent.
We're continuing, by the way. So.
Yeah. And also shout out, thanks so much again, Trent, if you're listening.
Thanks for joining us, man.
For joining us. That was a lot of fun last week.
Yeah. Also, good IHOP.
Yeah, it was good. We got IHOP after. That was a good time. I had some pancakes. It was a dream.
Yeah.
But good stuff, dude. Any other comments, thoughts that kind of stood out? Other than obviously,
great
just goes
album,
hard.
Great band. I can't say more. I mean, because the music really does speak for itself.
Right. Yeah.
That note.
Well, I do want to say, when I did check the camera, we are about out of time. So I think we definitely should cap it off there.
Okay.
And then
we'll do the other one for the next episode.
Our next segment.
Okay.
This next week. But thank you so much for everyone
Thank you for nerding out with us.
For nerding out. Because
and guitar technique.
This was like 30 minutes of just straight nerding out.
Like just talking about technique.
Yeah. Literally. I think we talked about technique for 10 minutes. And I'm very curious if any of you actually stayed and listened through. But if you did, thank you.
Thanks,
we
Putin.
really, what?
What?
Who? Huh?
What?
Have a good week, everybody.
Yeah.